After a very boring last couple of weeks, Bitcoin has finally hit our minimum corrective target on that wick to the downside that we saw in the last 2-day closure right here. This is going to be very important now because the picture in the background is starting to change, and the hopium remains alive for the Bitcoin bulls here. So I wanted to kind of conglomerate some of the major things that are happening in the short term here, as well as in the background, and just kind of present a bit of a picture that I think, not many people are considering right now. Now, of course, I'm 100% open to all of this being 100% wrong as well, but I do want to point out that after Bitcoin had hit that corrective target, we are starting to see all time frame momentums on the higher term time frames align. At least there's a chance to by the end of tonight, with the daily momentum remaining to the upside as long as Bitcoin is above 96,620. So so far looking decent, almost $1,000 above that as of right now. But of course, it's a long day left to go. But something to be aware of right there. The 2-day time frame is also going to be freshly crossing up as long as Bitcoin is above 95,650. And if you recall from yesterday to today, that pivot, that number has actually come down, which is typically a decent sign. The 3-day time frame is also going to be closing tonight, and that one will officially flip up if Bitcoin does close above 96,950, which it is trading about $500 above right now. Again, very long day left to go, so many things can happen here, of course. But all of these things kind of coalescing do suggest that Bitcoin has hit our sort of minimum corrective target this past week. And then 2, next move should be an attempt at a bounce. Now, attempt at a bounce and reversal into massive new powerful upturn are two very different things, obviously. But I do think that a bounce here is quite likely, because not only does Bitcoin have all of these things going for it in the short term, which again, it's a long day left to go. If these don't get confirmed, then that kind of destroys everything that I'm speaking about right here. But obviously, I mean, that's it's contingent upon these things. What I'm trying to say. But when we go over here to the 5-day time frame, which again is closing tomorrow for CME, Bitcoin's going to actually have a chance to reclaim the median here on the HPDR as long as Bitcoin's above 97,250. Again, this is on CME, so there's a premium over spot price action. It's trading, decently above there right now. Again, one full day left to trading. Lots of things can happen, but looking at it right here, if we start to see all of these conditions met, Bitcoin remaining above these momentum pivots that we spoke about on the daily, 2-day and 3-day, and then the 5-day reclaiming the median, that would be a really good indication to me that Bitcoin's going to, put in a decent attempt at a bounce and perhaps even can carry on. Now, I do think that Bitcoin could obviously bounce here, and then doesn't necessarily have to make new highs or anything like that. It could bounce up all the way to the 618 fib here, which is around 102, come back down, set in a higher low, and then try and move to the upside. Again, this can take a long time, obviously. But the puzzle pieces are there is the main message that I want to be having. And then of course I want to combine that with some of the other things that we've been looking at throughout these past couple weeks. One of them being the hash ribbons indicator. This one, I'm not going to go through the full explanation of this. I think we did a little bit of that yesterday, but for now I just want to acknowledge that the projected buy signal is coming in 2 days. Now again, this number floats around massively depending upon Bitcoin's price. So if Bitcoin were to rally a bit here, then I think that's going to obviously help that case to maybe happen even a little bit sooner. And if Bitcoin does not rally here, then that signal can be postponed. But I do want to once again reiterate the sort of, at least the way that I'm looking at this. I still would not consider Bitcoin is in a position of power, let's say, in a position to potentially break out until this buy signal happens. And holy shit, you just saw it tick down spot one day. so it's accelerating to the upside. No. But yeah, anyways, that coming in, hopefully 2 days or less, that would massively help out the Bulaw's case here. And personally, I won't be looking for a potential long-term long position until that buy signal has indeed confirmed. So again, this is projection. It's not a guarantee. there's no way to guarantee something like this, but hopefully within a couple days. Obviously, we'll continue to update on this as each day passes. Anyways, from there, I also wanted to bring up that the liquidity chart is also still very much active. We just haven't spoken about it in the past 5 days. I mean, price hasn't really done anything in the past 5 days, or maybe even 10 days. But again, if you're not familiar with this setup, it's a very simple one right here, using the global liquidity index indicator, which conglomerates all of the major central banks and money supplies. And we found a pretty simple strategy here. I do think that this can be massively optimized, but looking at the interplay between the global liquidity index, which is the yellow line, versus the blue, which is just a 40 simple moving average, and anytime that it crosses above, generally a good time to be on the long side of the market. Anytime that it crosses below, generally not good to be on the long side of the market. Is it the perfect timer of things? Maybe not, but it does give the green light in the background from a fundamental perspective, using what, at least in my opinion, the only fundamental thing that really matters, which is, the money supply, which is related to all of the other things. So it kind of shows everything in one nice place. But looking at it here, we do see that the 5-day on this new open is well above that moving average. So this is going to remain open at least for another period. And as long as this is above the 40 simple, that's the macro environment where you can see these massive fucking moves. For example, we saw one recently from about July of 2024, ending in middle of November of 2024. Getting this humongous move right here. We saw another one in 2023, or starting in 2023 November, ending in June of 2024. Again, really big move right there. And then also coming off of the last macro low, and pretty much presiding over the full last macro upcycle as well. Again, is this perfect? No, we can actually backtest it. We can see that out of 25 times where we've seen this crossover happen in Bitcoin's full history, about where's my numbers, 72% of the time it did close profitably, and not every time it was like a tremendous move. Sometimes some like what we saw over here recently, I mean, it's still a win, but obviously not these massive 100% or more moves that I think a lot of people rightfully are looking for. but yeah, these things are working in the background. If we get this signal over here, and assuming that this is still above the moving average on the liquidity index, and of course Bitcoin continues to operate above all of these low-term time frame, or semi-low-term time frame momentum pivots, that at least is going to indicate a bounce for Bitcoin. I do think that Bitcoin can easily bounce somewhere between 100,000 and 102,000, and I would have to say, though, just going off a straight up price action, I probably wouldn't confirm a breakout until Bitcoin's above like 105 and change. But of course, again, the focus is on all of these things in the background here. Some technical, some fundamental, but the puzzle pieces are in place, and I'm massively hoping, at least for the Boolaw's sake, that we get clarity on this before this weekend is over, because that would make things a lot more easy if and when that blue buy signal does happen on the hash ribbons indicator. Anyways, I'll sign off on that note. Just a short and sweet one today, as we're kind of moving around again. It's actually like massively cloudy here in Clearwater, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll be speaking to you from a new city soon. And with that said, I want to wish you the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully Friday.